up, what up, what up? It's your favorite shit-talking squirrel, back for another YouTube video. So today we're going to be taking a look at a series of hearings that got split up over, well, it's going to be split up over a few uploads because it's just so long. There's such a long and storied history behind this saga. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I do just want to go over the logistics of this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to fit this into 2 uploads. Today's Saturday. We're finishing the recording of this tomorrow. So it could be in 2, it might be 3, but either way, it's going to be a multiple part series, not ongoing, but it will be through, a few separate parts. So at the end of this, if you like it, keep your eyes open, and I'll post a new one relatively soon, especially if this does well. This was another collab with Nawson and another YouTuber I've gotten the opportunity to get to know named Sprinklecake. She's really chill. She's a streamer. I'll leave her details in the description so you guys can check her out. She's on YouTube. But I think we had kind of good vibes going on between the 3 of us. It was pretty fun just kind of clowning on this guy. So I really think the energy in it is contagious. I hope so. And that, you guys will enjoy this. I know it's not Daryl Brooks, so it's not going to do, spectacularly well. But, again, this was just a lot of fun to make and record. And I think you guys can feel that through these uploads, especially when it seems like everybody involved is having fun. So, anyways, just real quick before we start, I'm able to bring you guys all this content because of contributions that a few of you guys make through Patreon and merch. So, if you do like this content and you have some extra bread, some extra cheddar, some lettuce or some cabbage, a few coins to throw my way. Are there any other? I think there's more food. Let me know in the comments if you can think of a food metaphor for money. I'm blanking right now. But yeah, let me know. I know dough, some cheddar, some lettuce. I think there's more. Anyways, sorry to sidetrack. But yeah, if you like this content and you feel like you'd like to contribute to see this content, more of it, or have it get better, you can join the Squirrel Gang. It's a new tier in the Patreon I just released. We can do a custom case watch video for you where just you and me can record one of those case watch videos anytime you like. And you also get a Squirrel Gang sticker to rep the set. There's also a $1 tier where you'll get some extra content. We just did a watch party over in the Discord yesterday. And I released the recording of that watch party in Patreon. That's only $1. And there's going to be a lot more extra content to come. So, if you got an extra $1 and you want to see some more videos, again, that link is in the description, as is the link to the merch, which, it's all squirrel stuff down there. There's a couple Judge Dard t-shirts, but, there's some cool stuff I really worked hard on. You guys could check it out. With that, all the YouTube stuff is done. We can just hop on into the content now. Hope you guys really enjoy it again. This was fun to make, and we'll have a second portion coming up really soon if you did like it. So, without further ado, let's just jump on into the content, shall we? Let's get this.
I haven't watched this.
Hello, what's your name?
Schuh.
Schuh.
Jeremy Schuh. This guy is a trip.
Any change to your contact information, Mr. Schuh?
Contact information would be my mother.
Okay.
Oh,
And is
God.
it okay to use that in the phone number for texting and calling?
Yes, it is.
So,
That's my current address.
Okay.
I'm in the process of moving, but yeah, that's my current address.
okay. This is State of Michigan versus Jeremy Schuh, 2240180. Your office was previously appointed on this matter. Mr. Hawthorne, you may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Calvin Hawthorne, Public Defender Fellow, appearing on behalf of Mr. Schuh. Your Honor, we are under the impression that this hearing is about a bond violation or a condition violation.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Schuh informs me,
You paused.
that he was not anywhere
if there was ever the image of a person who has just spent a night in jail, this man would be it. Look at him.
Yeah, he has a thick film of jail. That's gotta be washed off later when he gets out. If he gets out.
Film of jail.
It does, man.
Oh God, look at his face. I've never been in jail, so I can't speak, but I have to imagine it comes with its own challenges. This dude is going through it right now.
He has Uncle Fester dark circles.
Yeah, man, if he had a bald head, straight Uncle Fester vibes.
Yeah, totally.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's the second time Uncle Fester comparisons have come up on this channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when did were we watching something where you brought up Uncle Fester?
Oh,
Was
that
it
was
Brooks?
no, that was the dick drawing guy.
Oh yeah, Mark Jensen. Oh God.
The alleged
Link in description.
address where he's supposed to stay away from, and that he's had no contact with that individual as well.
Go ahead, Mr. Dovey.
Your Honor, the police report, Washington County Sheriff's report from 6/18 of 2022 indicates he was arrested hiding in the bushes across the street.
Yeah. The police report states that at 5731 Dexter Pinckney Road, the caller reported that someone had walked through their backyard and hunkered down in their weeds. They don't know what he's doing. They believe he came from next door. They recognize the subject. He had done it before, white male in his 30s. The police
Pause.
approached the location.
Nawson? That's really bad language to have on a police report, that you were hunkering down in the weeds, especially to come into court and claim that you didn't violate your bond conditions, which we'll find out was for being close to this lady's house. There's evidence that you were hunkering down in the weeds and you are trying to state in court that you didn't go there. I'm sorry, ma'am. It's a bold assertion.
Figure out who he looks like. He looks like 2D from Gorillas. Like if his hair is just a little bit longer.
Oh, I don't know if I know what the actual gorilla people look like. You're not talking about the animated people, right?
Yeah, the animated characters. He would be like the main just like the main character that is often depicted as the vocalist. His name is
With
2D.
The solid white eyes and the huge bags.
Yes.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, his hair is just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Location where the subject was last seen in the woods. A white male was observed. I asked Jeremy Schuh what he was doing. He told me he was just sitting. I questioned him about sitting in someone's weeds. He told me
was
just
masturbating.
sitting. He had just come from his
Yeah,
friend's
that's what I
house.
think.
Okay, so the address that you're not supposed to be at, Mr. Schuh, is
that meter.
57 something.
The BS
5721.
meter.
You were found at 5731. And you're not supposed to have contact with somebody named Donna Eaton.
Did not.
Deputy Rob.
Yeah, they're not saying you had
requested I
contact, man.
contact with Donna. I spoke to a female on the telephone who identified herself as Donna. I informed her of who I was, and when I mentioned Jeremy being at her house, she hung up the phone.
I did not have contact with her.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, we know.
When you put yourself in a situation that is standing right against the line of violating your bond, like being very, very close, then the
Raise your
police don't have any option but to assume.
Oh
you
yeah,
violated
the
your
hand
bond.
raising thing,
no
that will
reason for you
become
to
a
be there.
theme.
Yeah, ma'am,
Yes,
may I speak?
sure.
That's not grade school, bitch.
I was at a party behind the residence, which was
A bush party.
No, you were not.
I
He
know
was
where
partying
Horseshoe is.
in the
I
bushes.
was at a party there.
It might be what you
Um,
describe it.
and
A party by
my
myself in the
understanding was-
bushes with my squirrel friends. and in the bush party. Get the fuck out of here, bro. In a party. Ugh.
Two
Lame.
things. One, from Donna's mother, that Donna spoke to Judge Freshauer and had the no contact order dropped.
Okay,
Also-
until someone gives you
I was just about to
from the
say
judge's
doubt. I
mouth
forgot I put that in there.
that information, it's not true.
All right, yes, ma'am. The other thing is I went to the creek that was behind the residence to find my sandals.
Mr. Schuh, I would just advise,
Yeah, because if your
You know-
sandals were there, you're too close.
That was from like a month ago where I dropped them. And I was just trying to get them.
Shouldn't have been there a month ago either.
Quick,
Yeah, thank you,
quick cover
Judge.
up.
Like
Yeah.
I said, I never had contact with her. I wasn't on her property. I apologize for any inconvenience. I am currently a caregiver for my two uncles. My one uncle has cerebral palsy. My other uncle has.
Pause for a sec. I've been working on this video for like weeks, and I'm literally having the same thoughts in my head that I put on the screen. Like, as soon as you said I'm a caregiver for my two uncles, I was like, oh, good God, I feel bad for those uncles. And the fucking text came on the screen. So, I mean, I know it's me, but it's just so funny that even weeks later, I'm still having the same thoughts.
I think
He's not-
I think he's just a couch jumper, and that's just some bullshit he tells people. Oh, I'm taking care of my uncles. No, you're staying on their couch because you're homeless and
Yeah.
you're a druggie.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not giving off caregiver vibes so much as he's giving off like grocery eater
Yeah,
energy. Like,
yeah.
Grocery eater?
Yeah,
yeah, like
eating someone
somebody
else's groceries.
Oh,
yeah, just sitting up in your house on your couch, eating your food, watching your cable.
I got one of those. I call her my girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
Wait. Hang on.
I mean, for him
And
to
the-
try to make the defense that he makes anyway just betrays even more that he's probably a druggie. Like, why is a 30-year-old man partying like in the middle of the week and getting that fucked up that he'd be hanging out in the bushes?
Yeah, let's say for a second here that his intentions were pure and he wasn't actually spying on this poor woman who has a restraining order against him. Let's say his story is true and he was just hanging out in the bushes. That unto itself is sketchy behavior. That very much reminds me of like somebody who is trying to get out of the spotlight so they can do drugs. Like whether or not he was shooting out or smoking or whatever, if he actually was back there, like he was up to some nefarious behavior in those bushes. I think what you're saying originally was right. He was having a good time by himself in those bushes is what was happening. I think.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. When you're at a party, you're there to be social, and you're not going to go somewhere else to do drugs because the person that brings drugs to the party is like the center of attention, depending on what party you're at. He's clearly in a situation, if he was at a party, which I don't think he is, but if he was, then he would not, I mean, the homeowner does not want him doing drugs in their home. That's why he had to go out to the bushes.
Yeah. Well, the house that he was behind, he's not supposed to be in anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I don't buy the party thing anyway. But what I'm saying is, even if he was at a party, they didn't want him there either.
Yeah.
Circulation issues and can no longer properly care for my one uncle with cerebral palsy. I've been staying in Belleville. And that's
So if you
where
can't
I
care
have
for
to
them,
move
why
to
is it
at
so
some
important
point
needed to get back there?
probation transferred and all the court stuff dealt with. I understand that I was online and I don't want to do any of that anymore. I just want to go to Belleville and help my mother, my uncle.
Well, when you say you
He
don't
just
do
said
any
you
of that
can't.
anymore, I mean, this just,
He just said that. He just said that
If you,
he's got circulation issues and he can't
if you-
care for them.
if you can't care for them, in what way are you a caregiver? Like, hey, I'm a race car driver, but I don't know how to drive. So
Yeah, and he's like trying to push this narrative to the judge that it's so important to get out of jail so I can take care of my uncles. But he just omitted onto the, quote unquote record that he isn't capable of doing that. So why should she consider that in your sentencing, or I think this is a bond hearing?
and if you cared, so like if you took that role so seriously, why would you be doing things that would risk your lack of freedom, like would risk your freedom, potentially put you back in custody? Idiot.
Very, very good point.
He was like, I'm gonna take care of this cake that my mom bought. I'm gonna take a slice over to my special place in the bushes beside Sally's room.
Yeah, I gotta go bring this to Donna, who has a restraining order against me. She'd love this cake.
You know who would
Ugh.
love this cake? The lady that has a restraining order against me. I'm gonna take some to her, maybe with a scoop of ice cream, and she'll
No, I
drop the
mean
restraining order.
I wasn't suggesting that. I was suggesting he just likes to have a little snack while he's there diddling himself.
It's always good to have a snack when you're loving yourself. I'm gonna say that, though.
Have a snack while you're having a snack.
Yeah, nice. That's a play on words.
A couple of days ago. So, and like I said, I mean, I guess my problem is that
I don't,
when you're pushing the limits like that, as I said before, it's not a person who is trying to stay out of trouble is not putting their toes right against the line to see whether or not they get caught. Okay. So by being so close to the place where you're not supposed to be, you put your toes right against the line.
I apologize.
And the police, then it's not unreasonable, given your history, for the police to believe that you violated your bond.
God, shut up, guy.
Yeah, stop talking.
Yeah, so when you push, that's what happens. So, did you recently post a bond in this case?
Yes, I posted a $1,500 cash bond, man.
Okay,
That was, Judge,
That probably came from his uncles.
I was just thinking that his mommy posted that for him. There's no way he had $1,500 cash on him in the bushes.
Undoubtedly.
Fresh Hour had 2,000 and she dropped it to
Yeah.
1,500.
okay. Hold on one second, I gotta turn my microphone off for a second.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So I think that the
She's
policy,
exhausted.
Unfortunately for you, and again, this is why
Yeah,
it's
pause
not
real
worth it
quick.
to push.
Imagine the levels of depravity these judges who work like the public sector that do these bond hearings must hear. Like the public defenders too. How they go home to like a normal family after hearing all this crap. Power to them.
And I was just gonna say, like, how do you manage somebody in that role? Like, how do you manage like even a neutral outlook on the public at large?
Yeah, really.
That would be so hard.
Even this guy, like, he's a pretty mild case, but like, what an asshole.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
You aren't taking care of anybody, you asshole. You're fapping outside your ex's window. You're not fooling us.
I think saying it's his ex is giving him way too much credit. This dude is stalker vibes.
Oh, that's such a good point. I didn't think of that. But yeah, we're being presumptuous and in his favor too.
The envelope is that you have to be held without bond until you can see Judge Fresh Hour. So that will be luckily this Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate it. Being made myself sorry for the inconvenience.
So Thursday, the corrections officers will make sure that you appear with Judge Fresh Hour on Thursday. And someone from Mr. Hawthorne's office will be there with you. You'll be able to discuss whether or not a violation occurred and what the penalty is at that time.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
At least he was polite at the end.
Yeah, he pause real quick.
Oh, is this him again?
Great! He's a
Oh,
DV
yeah.
offender.
This whole 3-hour video is Jeremy Schuh. It is an insane saga, but I forgot what I was gonna say, so never mind. Just hit play.
State of Michigan versus Jeremy Schuh, 22F10970. I have received a petition requesting a court-appointed lawyer. I will sign that. I believe that we've already updated Mr. Schuh's contact information, so I'm not going to bother to verify that. You may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Hannah Apple appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Schuh. I have reviewed the complaint with him, so we will waive a formal reading and stand mute at this time.
Okay, may address bond when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding bond, he is set for a bond violation hearing
And raising.
tomorrow. I have reviewed the bond form with Mr. Schuh, so he's aware of those conditions that are being requested. No objection there. We'd request the next available court date for him.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Schuh.
I would honestly like to have a reading of the formal complaint
Sure.
for the record, please.
The complaint in this matter states that on or about June 23rd, 2022, at 2201 Hogback Road in Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan, defendant is accused of bribing, intimidating, or interfering with witnesses.
Intimidating the witness. What have I done to intimidate the witness?
Giving
The witness.
Yeah.
The witness. Sorry, what?
His demeanor is totally different now than it was last time.
Yeah, he's cocky.
Yeah. Yeah.
He must have just read the Sovereign Citizen website. Is that where this is going?
There's definitely like moments of sov-citness. I don't think he's a full-blown sovereign citizen, but like you'll see, for example, much like Brooks, he has an obsession with the record and feeling. You'll hear some of it, but his him thinking that the justice system is out to get him is also another similar theme throughout these hearings.
And can I just say real quick, I don't think I've ever trusted anybody that has transition lenses that are no longer transitioning correctly. Like somebody with like 5+ years transition lenses that still stay dark while they're inside. Yeah, I've never met anybody in that situation that I've trusted. So
That's a good point.
word to the wise, it's a red flag.
offering to give or promising a relationship to a person in order to influence the person's testimony, or to prevent the person from testifying in an official proceeding. This is a felony with a maximum of 4 years and or $5,000.
Ooh.
Since
That's the
I
max.
have not reviewed the complaint and have not had the ability to review the complaint, can you tell me who the alleged arresting officer and or complaining witnesses is?
The complaining witness is Officer Thomas Robb of the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
I took testimony today from Sinks. This doesn't have Sinks. Detective Thomas Sinks. His testimony to me was that 2 phone calls were made to Miss Donna, I think you say her last name, Uton, and that in those 2 phone calls, you were instructing her about what to say when she came to court.
Okay, that's I understand what the testimony is, ma'am. There's no validity to that, but it is what it is. I understand that's not what it is.
Oh, so it sounds like it sounds like it is an ex-girlfriend.
Yes, I understand. I completely understand.
Okay, and you're not supposed to talk to her.
Oh, pause. I think what might have happened is maybe the cops came and he was hiding in the bushes. Like he knows he's not supposed to be with this girl.
Oh.
And for whatever reason, the cops showed up and he was hiding in the bushes.
She called them, I'm sure. She saw him.
Yeah, maybe. Because I thought it was weird that when somebody called her and said, Jeremy Schuh is at your property, that she hung up. Like, if he was a stalker and she was the subject of said stalking, wouldn't she want to know more info about where he is and what he's doing?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think she's his girlfriend. That he's...
Like, they're currently together?
Yeah, like, I think he hit her, got charged with a TPO, and he's not supposed to be there. And because we do hear from his quote-unquote girlfriend in one of these hearings coming up. So I didn't realize they were the same people.
It's really hard to get out of those situations. And the more you try to push them away, it's almost like a rubber band. They snap back because they're love bombing, and that cycle, gets stronger every time.
We'll hear from her, and it's heartbreaking. What you're saying is completely on point.
So you originally thought this was a different woman who's about to talk?
Yeah. Well, we don't hear from her in this hearing, I don't think. But yes, I thought he was stalking, that he was in the back, like you said, diddling himself behind some
Yeah.
poor woman's house, but
Mhm.
it sounds like he was hiding out from the police.
Do you think she hung up and was just like, go hide in the bushes outside?
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Or he was trying to leave and the cops rolled up, so that was just he just hopped in there
Yeah,
like a
or
Bugs Bunny.
she already knew they were coming and didn't want to give them any evidence to where he was.
Right. Right.
Well, who
That makes
called the
sense.
cops on him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Could it
I
be a
would assume
neighbor
it would be
that
her.
knows that he's abusive and looks out for her?
That doesn't
Yeah,
make
maybe.
much sense to me.
Well, there is a domestic violence charge in between either the first hearing or this one, because that's what they're talking about now is the DV charges.
Okay.
Okay.
You know that already. I mean, we just saw each other.
I completely understand. I'll say this, I reserve my First Amendment right to freedom of association and my 14th Amendment substantive due process right to marry and or have a relationship with whoever I choose.
Oh, yeah, see, that's
really all.
Obsidian. Yeah, see, I
My
even
daddy!
put in the...
My daddy, I love him!
I was literally rolling my eyes like as that meme came up. It's so funny. I'm rewatching my own stuff back and reacting the same. But yeah, he's really coming close on the line to subsidiary. I have the right to be married to a constitutional right to be married to a woman and beating. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You're disgusting.
You have a right to marry whoever you want, regardless of whether they want to marry you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like busting someone's door in and just grabbing them? Ah! I'm exercising my 14th Amendment right!
Yeah. And doesn't that fly in the face of their whole consensual standpoint? Like, if she isn't consenting to being married to him, wouldn't that fly right in the face of Sovsit beliefs that they have to consent to anything?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to say today.
Okay. And I'll say this. You and I had a long conversation. We were very clear about what you were ordered and not ordered to do.
Get him, Judge.
Court orders,
Get him.
Pardon the expression, trump your right to associate freely until your court case is over. So you're not accused today of violating that court order because you already were accused of violating the court order. So this is where we are now.
I completely understand, ma'am, and I'm not trying to be argumentative towards the court, nor it seems a little
you're not trying, you're just doing it naturally.
I have a court hearing tomorrow, which
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I'm not trying to keep you from going.
Yeah. Not trying to be disrespectful in any way.
But I'm gonna interrupt you and keep you from going now.
Be disrespectful.
Exactly.
With all due respect, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Always. And now
exactly.
all of a sudden they're trying to throw whatever dirt they can towards me. So I understand.
Okay. This is a felony charge. I'm going to set a bond on this case because of the nature of the charge, as well as your status on the other things. Set the bond at 5,000, 10%.
All right, I appreciate it, ma'am. Thank you.
Miss McDuffie, did you want to say
pretty
something?
low.
I'm familiar with Mr. Schuh. I understand what the office is requesting.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. I just had a couple of notes from the APA who's handling this case, and it was pointed out that on this particular matter, apparently Mr. Schuh has not appeared voluntarily. It's only been when he's in custody. However, I do have Mr. Schuh on some unrelated sort of traffic cases in 2 other courtrooms, and I've always seen him appear, so that
that's not for this matter, though. Because
no, I understand.
We're in a new case.
Yes, I'm just saying that the notes in terms of his appearances, willingness to appear, ability to appear, etc., are just reflecting that, just in terms of flight risk, etc.
Yeah, so that should definitely be a
factor.
The
bigger flight risk, honestly, is his unwillingness to follow court orders. But I believe that Judge Frusciante.
You just nod?
Yeah.
I'm setting this at 5,000, 10%.
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to cut you off, and I completely apologize. I am filing, just so the prosecutor office know, and for the record can reflect, I will be filing a civil lawsuit based on malicious prosecution.
Okay.
So that'll be filed in federal court within the next couple days.
What?
I think we should not waive the timeframes, Miss Apple,
What?
because I don't know when he's going to be able to.
Yeah, I was requesting the next available, so
Okay, next available is July 7th at 9 a.m.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a
That's
good
for
day.
the probable cause conference, Mr. Schuh, okay?
I appreciate it, ma'am.
All
Thank
right,
you.
no contact with, I gotta give you a couple of conditions, no contact with Donna Uten. Do not go to her address on.
Okay.
Or leave your slippers there.
Or jerk
you
off in the
already have a
bushes.
tether in that other
Yeah.
place, don't you?
No, I do not. I have no tether.
Okay, I'm ordering a tether.
Okay.
Um,
Is
Is it
that
like an ankle
before
monitor?
or after I pay
Yes.
whatever bond?
Gotcha.
When you are released from custody, a GPS tether will be put on you. I'm trying to decide whether I want the tether to restrict you.
No,
to
it's
your
a
home.
really long tethered rope that they attach to the cord.
It's a leash. It's a leash with a harness, like parents put on their children at Disneyland.
You can see by his lifting brows that he did not see that coming, and he had every intention of going back to that place.
Yeah.
Let me roll it back.
Decide whether I want the tether to restrict you to your home.
He's like, oh,
Oh yeah, that was a really.
Prevent you from
Yeah.
being where she is.
That was very
I'm also
astute.
going
Good
to order
catch.
that you not use the phone while you're in jail.
So my civil rights are even more restricted now.
yeah, he's pissed.
These aren't your civil
Yeah.
rights, sir. You misunderstand. I get why you feel that way, but that's not what this is.
Yeah.
When a
When you're
person is
in, when you
accused
break
of
the law,
committing
you
a
lose
crime,
certain rights.
then
Yeah.
it's the court is.
Daryl
permitted-
does that same thing. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, man. When you go to court, you give up certain rights. Same thing when you're in custody. Like they both technically have rights to bear arms, but they just ignore that. Like you obviously know you can't take a gun into jail.
Right.
God, they're so fucking stupid.
I hate that shit.
Even when you're not convicted of things, your First Amendment rights, as Judge Doro puts it, aren't unfettered.
Not unfettered, exactly.
Like you have to have a permit to carry a gun. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
They
puts a
forget that.
You also unknowingly give up your rights in certain locations. Like when you go to school, they have the right to keep you there under certain circumstances. Like the courthouse is the same thing. You give up certain rights when you walk in the premises.
Your rights are sometimes superseded by the need for, well, again, as Judge Doro says, like courtesy and decorum and just like the way things need to go if we're going to be a society and shit.
restrictions. on your
Courtesy
liberty.
is
I'm
the
not
standard,
restricting your
but
civil rights.
not with
That's
these
right.
people.
I'm balancing your rights to be free from any interference with Miss Uten's rights to be safe.
I'll say this all stemmed from an argument that there was no physical violence from myself nor threats from myself. I just want to make that clear.
Okay, and I understand what you're trying to tell me, and it's okay for you to tell me the things that you're telling me, but I have not forgotten what our last interaction was like.
I completely understand, ma'am. Like I said, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
All right. So I'm going to
Oh.
order the GPS tether to keep you from her location. That's less restrictive than confining you to your home. So the GPS tether prior to your release from jail with as the hotspot. No contact means you can't initiate contact. It also means you can't reply if she contacts you. You can't use social media or any third party to have contact with her. No criminal behavior.
There is no
assaultive
chance in
behavior,
hell
no
he's
weapons.
respecting these guidelines.
No way.
And I'm ordering you not to use the phone in the jail. Well,
I still have,
I need to speak to someone. I need to speak to someone in the jail. Could you ask one of the corrections officers to?
I believe there's one sitting right here.
Hi. There's a request from the prosecutor's office that Mr. Schuh have a restriction not to use the phone. I don't know what that looks like. That's not something I usually order. Because
Looks like
I
them
think that
being
sometimes
kept away
people
from
need to
the
use their phone
phone.
for other reasons.
What do you mean?
So what, do you have any thoughts on that? I'm not asking you to make the decision, but if there's something you can tell me about what phone use is like.
So you probably could call the sergeant and they can give you a better,
Okay.
what to do and what not to do, I
All
guess.
right, we'll call Arnett then.
Yep, perfect. Yep.
Okay, thanks. Ms. McDuffie, anything you want to say about that? That's a request from your office, and I understand why it's being requested, but I'm not sure that that's an appropriate restriction.
I understand, Your Honor. I've seen it as well, and I've had a couple other cases with jail calls with intimidation issues,
Yeah.
and it's essentially all we can do to prevent that contact. So,
Pause, Nate, please. Even if they, let's say, for example, they restrict the phone number for the girlfriend, he's just gonna call his buddy and say, "Hey, go over to my girl's house and let her use your cell phone."
I was just gonna say that, like, the reason it's being restricted in the first place is because he cannot be trusted to follow that boundary. He can't follow any boundaries, which is why he thinks, Sovset stuff is so great. So I think that's a completely reasonable and appropriate restriction to place on him. I don't think the prosecutor's being unreasonable at all.
No. All the things in jail like that, the commissary and the phone, those aren't rights. Like, you're not entitled to that. Those are privileges you get based on behavior.
Yep.
It would be one thing if you could sort of say no calls to this number, but there are ways to sort of circumvent that as well. So it's kind of all we can do to,
Right.
And he will.
May I say one thing?
Yes.
And again, I apologize, and I understand that this is an inconvenience for
Stop
everybody.
apologizing.
I have court tomorrow based on the controlling domestic violence case.
Yeah.
If and when that controlling domestic violence case is dismissed and or avoided or whatever, does this case control that one, or does that one control this one?
No, neither.
Oh, what
They're
a
two
stupid
separate
question.
cases. You are right to think that there should be a connection because
What's a but for? For pooping, silly.
The misdemeanor, this one wouldn't matter.
I love it.
But they're really two separate cases. This is a guess, but my guess is that if the one is dismissed, that does have a slightly different flavor for the witness intimidation case, but they do go forward. I've seen people charged with witness intimidation a year after the underlying case was dismissed.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear to myself.
Can we get a hold of Arnett? If I restricted your phone calls, which I would like to do, who in an ideal world with no restrictions, other than Miss Uten, who would you like to call on the phone?
I call my family. I call a friend named Tanya. That's basically my phone.
Okay. Who do you call in your family?
Mother, father, brothers, sister. Again,
I have extreme doubt he calls any of those people on a regular basis.
Donna's family are also very good friends. They was friends prior to my relationship or my engagement. There's no, basically, I apologize. This is really all a waste of time. I've never.
You're not wasting my time. I'm working, so it's okay.
Yeah, I completely, like I said, it's not. My personal opinion, all I've ever done or said to have done was ask.
The sergeant's on my phone. I'm sorry, Mr. Schuh.
Thank you. Seems like they're trying to pick up any type of dirt that they can possibly pick up to violate my civil rights. And I guess the federal court will have to deal with that. Yet again.
No,
Oh,
you're doing that to yourself.
It's time to stop.
So Frank, right? I love that guy.
Hell yeah, I love him.
Is the state and/or county trying to intimidate?
Why is he still?
Not myself.
This is
Seems
like I
they're
said,
trying to
remember in the
violate
other day.
my
Pause
14th
for a second, please, Nate. They all do this. Every stop sit and I've ever seen these hearings, they all do this. Nobody is listening, but they all just keep talking. Daryl is like the prime offender of this.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna say that. We had the same thought at the same time. Anybody that'll listen, anybody that he thinks that he can get on his side or control or manipulate.
Well, more than that, even when they aren't listening, like Daryl will get muted when it's just him in the courtroom, and he'll spout off for like minutes at a time. Like you hear the court going to a break, and he's like yelling. You know he doesn't stop when they
I don't agree to an estoppel.
Yeah. But they all do this in these hearings. Like the judge will mute them, and you'll just see them, and they're not listening to anything that's being said. They're just like rolling off at the tongue. It's so ridiculous.
Substantive due process.
Some DNA flaw.
This
However,
word vomit.
This matter was supposed to be arraigned within 72 hours, yet they kept adjourning it. Seems like they're malicious prosecution of myself. But yet again, we'll let the Eastern District Federal Court, Detroit Court, deal with that.
That's what it's through. That's
Abuse of process, malicious prosecution, false arrest, false imprisonment.
Oh my God.
Violation of contact order, but yet
psycho.
He went to the barbershop and said, "Just give me that 7th grade special."
Yeah, the flip up.
Holy shit. The faux hawk, that's just the front part of his hair.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
This is kind of like it's almost like he's drooling off because he knows she's not listening. It's almost like, if like a big guy comes up to a little guy and like, kicks sand in his face, and the little guy is too scared to do anything, but then when the big guy walks away, he's like, yeah, I know Kung Fu. You're nothing but a little bitch, and I'd have whooped your ass.
Yeah.
And the power of God and anime on my side.
I wasn't in violation of no contact order. Getting ready to let me go, and yet, I allegedly promised somebody a relationship. A 30-year-old woman that has kids, I promised a relationship. Makes no sense. Not that I.
Okay. I'm going to restrict phone numbers.
Okay.
I talked to the sergeant and I asked him what, my question was, how sort of spiritually harmful is it for a person to be cut off from their phone privileges? And he said it kind of depends, of course, on what their use of the phone is and what their relationship to the community is. So I know you would like to be able to contact your family. So Ms. McDuffie, we need your office to get the phone number for, I don't have her phone number, Miss Uten, and her family, so that he cannot call those numbers.
How are they even going to police this?
Those numbers then can be submitted to the jail as numbers he cannot call. Okay. And that, according to Sergeant Arnett, that is something that can be updated. So if it starts to look like
okay, they have a system.
Using this restriction, more phone numbers can be added. But I think for now, I'm going to say no jail calls to Donna Uten or her family members.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll.
Public defender, victim advocate to supply numbers to jail. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It was also the victim advocate, Leah Donahue, is the one that allegedly reported this after Miss Uden, from my understanding, spoke to her and told her she will be in court to tell the truth and make sure this matter is resolved.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that there's some type of notation that it was Leah Donahue that is basically all this stems from.
Okay. All right. I think we're finished for today. So Mr. Schuh, no contact. No, that begins now. Your phone privileges will be restricted as soon as that information is provided to the jail, but the order not to contact Miss Uten or her family begins now, continues, because you already had that order, begins again on this case now, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to be clear on that. Even though we don't have the numbers to restrict, you are still restricted by my court order.
Okay.
Okay, and then all of the other ordinary domestic violence conditions, 5,000, 10% is the bond, GPS tether with her address as the hotspot if you post bond. And court date on July 7th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
One thing real quick. From my understanding is that Miss Uten and or her family has contacted and or communicated with the prosecutor's office and informed them that what she intended to do, telling the truth in court. What she did not want was no contact order. So basically,
so I don't change that unless I get to speak to the person. Okay. And at this point, that's not, I have not heard that from anyone. So I'm not making any modifications to my orders.
I completely understand.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What do you say?
All right. We are all set. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Yeah, thanks. That was a long haul, but here we are.
I love this editing.
He's got the same shirt on.
Oh no.
Oh, this is me. I edited this.
No, I know you did. I was just trying to give you a compliment, buddy.
Oh.
And I was saying, oh no, to the little I love you hand gestures. Oh God.
Yeah. Doing what he was charged of on camera during his court hearing.
Right. And I didn't know you were a Law Talk with Mike fan, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Number 2240180, State of Michigan versus Jeremy Schuh.
Oh wow. Yeah, they're on other sides of the equator, aren't they?
Jeremy Schuh.
You really think it's appropriate to try to talk to the victim while you're on Zoom?
She was talking to me. I didn't say
There's
anything.
a no contact order. Mr. Ellman, have you had an opportunity to speak with him, or do you need a breakout room with him?
I met with him yesterday, Your Honor. We spoke yesterday. I don't believe there's anything new we need to discuss.
So we're ready to proceed on the bond violation hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. May we approach briefly?
Sure. Can you put myself, Miss Willingbring, and Mr. Ellman into a breakout room?
Somebody's gonna have to withdraw.
We are back on the record in State of Michigan versus Jeremy Schuh. Mr. Schuh, can you state your name?
Jeremy Schuh, still here.
Okay. And Mr. Ellman, what are we doing
pause.
today?
So anything in that font right there, that's not me, that's Squishy. Just FYI.
Okay.
Your Honor, thank you for that bench conference, first of all, but as we discussed at bench, it's my understanding after meeting with Mr. Schuh that he, I guess, does wish to admit to the added bond violation, which is the phone calls, however, not the original bond violation that he was previously picked up on the 18th. Mr.
Schuh, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Lower your hand to state and spell your name for the record.
Jeremy Schuh, JEREMY SCHUH.
Sir, it's the court's understanding that you're going to be pleading guilty to this violation of bond. Do you understand that if you plead guilty or are found guilty of violating your bond, the court can revoke your bond and hold you in custody while this case is pending?
Yes, I do.
And is that still what you'd like to do today?
May I address the court prior to, can I say?
I can put you into a breakout room with your attorney, but I'm here to take a plea, or you can talk to your attorney.
If you'd like to speak with me, Mr. Schuh, we should do that now. I would advise you to only strictly answer the judge's questions in terms of your plea and not make any
Yeah, I was about to say,
statements.
that's not what he wants to
If
do.
there's
He wants
something
to
you'd
talk to
like
the
to
judge.
say, I think we should get a breakout room and you should run it by me first.
Would you like to speak?
Yes.
Would you like the opportunity to speak with your attorney? Okay, if we could put Mr. Schuh into a breakout room with Mr. Ellman, please.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Back on the record in State of Michigan versus Jeremy Schuh. Mr. Schuh,
Appreciate
can you
it.
state your name again?
My name is Jeremy Schuh.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Ellman.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Mr. Schuh still intends to admit to the bond violation as it relates to the phone calls today. Is that correct, Mr. Schuh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's try that again. Mr. Schuh, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
Jeremy Schuh.
Sir, it's the court's understanding that you're going to be pleading guilty to a bond violation. Do you understand that if you are found guilty or plead guilty to a violation of bond, the court can hold you in custody while this case is pending and revoke your bond? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And is that still what you'd like to do today?
Yes, it is.
What did you do that makes you think you're in violation of your bond?
While I was in jail, I called my fiance.
I love that she
spoke
asked
to her
this.
on the phone.
The court, and that was in violation of your no contact order, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
The court will accept the violation of admission to the violation of bond. Mr. Ellman or Ms. Willingbring, is there anything anyone would like to say?
Nawson, can you pause,
before I
please?
address the bond?
I really like that. I know I said it before, but I really like that the judge makes him say, I admit to making the phone call. It's like, I feel like it's a really important part of this process. Like, so many criminals just kind of skate by taking a plea and like still denying that they ever did anything. If you talk to almost any inmate who's in there on long charges, they'll almost all say like, oh, I was falsely accused. So it's a really smart move on her part to make the people stand in court who are taking plea deals and say, I did this on the record.
I have to agree with you there. I think that it also speaks to her character and competency as a judge. It's clear that she fully understands what type of defendant and, moreover, personality she's encountering here.
Yeah,
and she has probably carefully studied and analyzed the records before her. And so I don't think she's coming into this. He's not going to be able to take advantage of her at all.
It's very astute of you to pick up on that, because we'll see more on that later. But
she's gonna shut him down.
Well, no, just that she's aware that this is like a particular defendant where having a very clear and concise record is going to benefit everybody, because he's going to try and milk the system for every drop of milk it's worth. But I just wanted to say too, I think it's an important process for the rehabilitation process as well, that they themselves stand up and admit that I did this, because like they're never going to get any better if they don't accept responsibility and accountability for their crimes. Because you see a lot of people, if you watch parole hearings, they'll sit there and just straight up deny that they ever did anything wrong, and it's like, okay, back to the jail you go. Like, and I get that it sucks for somebody that might have actually been falsely accused, that they go to parole and they say, oh, I didn't do this, and they're just tossed back into jail. But probably 99% of them like really need to work on like forgiving their victims. I mean, we even see it with Daryl. He hates those people. Like the people that he ran over, he straight up hates them. and he's never gonna get better and change as a person until he realizes that like them hating him is a response to his awful actions, not him as a person. Like,
yes,
Jeremy Schuh admitting I did this and I did this wrong will ultimately help him, even though he's just doing it to get through this. So it's, again, I'm really glad the judge does this. I hope she does it with everybody, and I wish I saw it more.
I agree. That's very. I will say sorry. I'll stop talking so much, but that's a very textbook for narcissists. That it's not me that has the problem, because there couldn't be anything wrong with me. Because if there is something wrong with me, then my entire worldview collapses. So there must be something wrong with you if you can't see the value that I see in myself.
Yeah, very true.
He already came out the gate admitting that he did it.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
The judge didn't do anything to. He already made the decision. They must have something on him. They must have like police phone call on record. He knows he can't fight it.
Well, no, in the last hearing, he was like debating. He was saying they're charging him falsely, and
that was with a different charge. This is
well, this is for the phone calls.
This one is phone calls.
Yeah.
The last one, they were just first establishing that he can't call her anymore, or that they're gonna.
I guess I'm misunderstanding what you're saying.
He came right out, like his attorney already said that he was admitting that he violated his parole.
Wasn't that after he tried to waffle at the start, though? Didn't he try to waffle?
I don't know what he was going to do. We don't know what he was going to do.
Good point.
My point is, regardless of what the attorney says, I like that the judge is making the defendant himself say, I did X.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Do you get my point, Nawson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I just like that he's getting put in his place.
Yeah.
Something that he tries and constantly tries to do to other people that might be more vulnerable. I think it's great that he gets to see how that feels.
Yeah.
I would, Your Honor, I do believe that the complaining witness is here, and I believe there's something she would like to say, and I think it may be relevant to the issue.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I address the court prior to the victim? Your Honor, as you know, Mr. Schuh had a no contact order with the complaining witness, in this case, Ms. Butin. At the time he was brought into custody on 6/23, between 6/23 and 6/27, he called her 15 times. He was arraigned on new felony witness tampering charges on 6/27, and he was arraigned no less than, I would say, 30 minutes after he was arraigned, told that he could not contact the victim. He again called her, referred to her as mom, but called her number. And at this point, their voices are recognizable to me, the officer involved, and the victim advocate. In calls with Ms. Butin, he's also made concerning remarks about suing everyone involved, threats to the victim advocate about finding her information and sending the U.S. Marshals to her house.
Jesus Christ.
Threats that were scary and inappropriate. Also threats to sue Your Honor. Mr. Schuh has never showed up to court on his own volition, has only been there in custody. I think he has an exceedingly difficult time following the court's orders or taking them seriously. And given the new charges, I don't think contact is appropriate, even if Ms. Butin tells Your Honor today that she would like it. Defendant quite simply has no respect for this court or its orders. So I am asking that Your Honor revoke Mr. Schuh's phone privileges other than phone calls to his attorney. Every call that he makes is either to Ms. Butin or to someone else in order to get a new number.
Pause, please.
Yeah, you called that. Damn.
I didn't remember that. I knew Fink was making a mistake when she did that, and that him calling his family was total BS. Oh, it's so annoying.
Well,
that was all.
she's saying here that to cover the basis of, even if the woman in question with Donna Houghton or whatever her name is allows him to have contact, he still shouldn't be able to have contact. So that confirms that this is his girlfriend, and she's probably allowing him to contact her. But there's someone else involved that keeps calling the cops on him, and there's someone else there's some other third party that's trying to get him arrested and stuff.
Probably her parents.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that. Or it could be her herself. Oh God, I sound like DB. You yourself. Oh God, sorry.
Or in order to contact her through someone else. So I think a revocation of his phone privileges would be appropriate. And I also would ask that he remain in custody at this time. He has a PCC on the 7th. There's also a no contact order in place via those felony charges as well.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I could respond to that briefly. I have had a chance to listen to the phone calls that were provided to me, and yes, Mr. Schuh has had contact with the complaining witness. However, I don't believe, I guess personally, that those phone calls, they were not overtly threatening in any way. Yes, he did threaten to, I guess if you want to call it threaten, he threatened to sue members of the county, including the victim's advocate. He did ask for her address, but specifically in that phone call, he asked for her address so that he could serve her with a lawsuit. And so I don't know, at least in my opinion, Your Honor, I don't believe these to be as physically threatening or as troublesome as Ms. Willenbring. I would also state that under my understanding of these phone calls, the complaining witness states many times that she loves him, they are engaged. I believe that she wants that contact, and I think she's here today to tell you that as well. And it should be noted that, he's been in custody on this since, I believe, June 18th, and has, according to him, served a total of 31 days already in custody on this case.
I am.
If you do that, you're just going to end up right where you were before. I'm sorry, I should have said pause. I apologize.
No, you're good.
If he's allowed to have contact with her, they're just going to end up, it's just a circle. They're just going to end up where they were before. He's going to continue to be abusive.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, God. I got too much experience in this.
Yeah. Don't they call it like the jail circle or whatever? Like people that get on probation, like they keep violating in and out, and like they can't get out of the system because they can't follow the rules.
Very high recidivism rate.
Yeah.
There an officer with you?
Yes, he's right here.
Okay, I'm happy to allow her back into the meeting. However, given your behavior when she was on,
I won't say nothing.
No, I'm going to ask the officer to turn off your video at this time because I don't want you mouthing words to her or kissy faces or anything other. That's clearly also in violation of your bond, since I made it very clear that you're not to have any contact with her. So
because it keeps him from doing kissy faces.
Oh,
no, that's not why. I think
that's why DB had the mask too. Got it.
I think this was during COVID. Like he actually is legitimate in doing. I think. I'm guessing.
So I'm going to ask the officer.
I like Nawson's reason better.
She's saving
video,
him from
and I will allow her in at that point.
So I'm not allowed to see what is said.
You'll be able to see. She won't see you, so she won't see you making any faces or gestures at you.
That's fine, man. That's all.
Like he was doing at the beginning of this effing hearing.
No,
Ma'am,
she's
can you
kind of
state
cute.
your name?
Oh, never
You'll
mind.
have to unmute yourself.
I was about to say. She got the old meth mouth.
Yes, my name is Donna Uten.
Good morning, ma'am. It's my understanding that you wanted to say something in regards to Mr. Schuh's bond.
Yes, I did. I don't understand how this all got blown crazy out of proportion. It was a verbal argument, and I honestly started the argument. This is all exceeding anything that I would ever want in my life. Like, I love Jeremy to pieces, and I plan on having a home with him and a relationship and building our family. My kids miss him dearly, and this is all like been a hardship on our family, and it's not worth anything that's happening right now for us to be away from him. We feel like our hearts are teared apart, and our home is torn apart all over an argument. We're both trying to figure out our mental health. If we could be subjected, having to do therapy or something like that would work. But this isn't right. And I've had my wishes taken away by the advocates because they kept telling me that I didn't have to show up and that it was okay and all of this, that they would take care of it. And nothing's been taken care of. They all went against what I wanted.
Thank you for that, Miss Eaton.
Pause, please. I'd like to know you guys' thoughts. She obviously doesn't want any of this anymore. She just wants him to come home. When I first watched this hearing, my girlfriend was very vocal that she was like really upset that they were like, quote unquote, doing this to her. And I couldn't disagree more. Like, she doesn't really even know what's best for her. I think there might be a financial aspect to this. Like, he's supporting her, or possibly even her habit, which is contributing to her wanting him home so badly. But like, her even throwing in the mental health aspect, like, your physical safety is more important than the, quote unquote, mental health strain it may be putting on, you and your kids. What do you guys think?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You go first. You go ahead.
It's possible that maybe this got blown out of proportion. That's at least my thoughts now. I mean, like, I already know that just based on the hints you dropped that it does get worse, but if I was to watch this at face value, I'd think to myself, okay, well, maybe it's the system being overly precautious and nothing really bad happened.
I mean, without bearing the lead, there's a lot more to go, but this is for the most part kind of the wrap up as far as her involvement. Like, he does get wrapped up in the system for other reasons, but it's not in relation to her.
Yeah, then I stand by it. I mean, like, maybe it's the system kind of going a little too far with its control.
Sprinklecake, what do you think?
So they're not, I don't know if they're going too far or not. I haven't seen enough. But the reason I know that them having contact would be a really bad idea, and the number one indicator, I would say, of the fact that he is like a narcissistic abuser is what she said at the start. She said it's all a result of a verbal argument that got out of hand that I started.
Yeah, that was the red flag for me too.
Yeah, the reason that she says that, and I speak from experience here, but that doesn't make me the expert. It certainly doesn't mean that anybody else has to agree with me. But
she's done mental gymnastics for him. Like, she's brainwashed there.
Yes, and when you're in an abusive relationship with a narcissist like this, I don't know if he's a narcissist, but when you are in an abusive relationship, it kind of just becomes easier to just say, I'm the one, it's my fault, I'm the one that started it, and just because you just don't want to have the argument anymore. You want the abuse to stop, you want things to go back to normal, and you just don't want to be screamed at anymore. So, and I think that's why she starts crying too, because I know, like, in my past personally, when I had done nothing and I get screamed at for like putting a dish away incorrectly or something like that, I would just say, it's my fault. I was being too loud, and I'm really sorry. It's my fault that you screamed at me and punched the wall. So I think that's why she's crying, because like there's almost like a dichotomy going on. Her mouth is saying that she wants to be like near him, and that they're gonna have a good relationship together, and this is a mentally healthy thing. But I think her heart and her like subconscious rather says, this man is abusive. He's not treating me right. I'm afraid of him, and I'm really hurt.
Yeah, I can speak to a little more what you're saying. I think like certain personality types attract this kind of behavior from their partners, like because I too like internalize confrontation, not even to a point where like I'm afraid of my partner's gonna say. It's just like when I get confronted by somebody, it's like my immediate go-to to just like back off and I'm sorry. It's like even if I'm in the right, because I hate confrontation so much, I'll just like okay, I'm sorry, which is like it's a really bad habit. But when you put it in the context of like when you're in a relationship with an abusive partner, it just fuels that like 10 times more, because they're taking your validation and like, yeah, see, I knew it. I knew you were up to no good. That's why you're apologizing. And it's like, no, I'm apologizing because I'm terrified of what you're gonna fucking do.
Yes, it's almost like when you're watching like raw interrogation footage. It's the same energy. Like in my opinion, they will admit to anything, even if they're not guilty and they know they didn't do anything, just to get out of that room, because it feels like you're going to be in that room forever. In a relationship, it just feels like you're going to be a foot away from a klaxon alarm, a siren in your face, and you would just be doing anything to get it to stop.
Yeah.
Torture.
Is there anything further, Mr. Ellman?
Your Honor, just briefly, I believe, and correct me, Ms. Willenbrink, if I'm wrong, but Mr. Schuh does have a bond in the felony matter that if he was able to make bond, he would be released on tether. And I would just put that in front of Your Honor as an option if you, for some reason, still didn't want him to have contact with the complaining witness. However, I would ask that you would adjust his bond to no non-consensual contact at this time.
Good move from the attorney. He's trying to get him out of jail.
Anything further from the people?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. First, thank you, Ms. Eaton, for coming here and speaking to me about the situation. I don't want to speak on behalf of the victims' advocates, but I will say that they have been in court, and I think that ultimately what happens in these cases is I'm the one who makes the final decision. So it's, I know from working with these advocates in the past that they do their best to represent you as best as they can, and I hope that you will continue to work with them, because I do think they have your best interest, and really I take what they say to seriously and certainly take into account whenever I'm making a decision, but ultimately that decision is mine, and so I hope you don't hold them at fault for any decisions that I have. They are really a helpful resource and might help be able to guide you to other resources that you're looking for. As far as Mr. Schuh's bond, there's a few things that are concerning in this case. Certainly the fact that I have very clearly stated what the bond conditions were and what the expectations were. Mr. Schuh, whether he agreed with the bond conditions doesn't really matter. And frankly, these decisions that I make, I don't ever make them lightly. I appreciate that people have varying circumstances that and relationships can be complicated. Ultimately, my concern is certainly safety for you, Miss Eaton, in this case, and public safety. And when these conditions are set out, that's what they're intended to do. Since the beginning of this case, Mr. Schuh has repeatedly not respected a single order that I have given regarding contact. Today, Mr. Schuh pled guilty to the bond violation of having contact with the victim in this case directly against my order. Additionally, the context of those phone calls and that contact resulted in additional felony charges. He was again ordered to not contact, and he just
She's doing the hand
doesn't
raising
seem
thing
to
too.
care or respect what the court has asked him to stop doing. I appreciate that,
Like, put your hand down. We get you want to say something.
Missy, and you would like to have contact with him. It is not just my order now. Now he has an order in the felony matter that there's also to be no contact. I am going to continue
she's
that
talking
no
too.
contact
She's got her
order.
muted.
At this time, I had previously revoked his
She
bond.
goes,
I will
birds of a
give
feather.
him a bond. I will set that bond at $10,000 cash. If he is able to post that bond, he will be on a GPS tether and will not be permitted to return back to that big Pine Drive location. I'm sorry, Miss Willingring, is it the Dexter Pinckney Road? Is that the correct location?
Oh, now she's shutting up. She's hoping they get it wrong.
Yes, Your Honor. It's the Dexter
Then
Pinckney Road.
he will not be permitted to return
I will be
back
appealing this order. I believe the judge is
to
biased.
the Dexter.
He unmuted
To the
himself.
Dexter Pinckney Road address.
I would like for the judge to, I would like for a different.
I am
No.
appealing this order. I will be filing.
Jesus Christ.
This,
Yeah, talk about birds of a feather. Holy
Mr.
shit.
Schuh, I want to make it very clear
Whoa, dude.
that
Well,
if
you know the fur was
able to
flying
be
that night,
released
right?
on that GPS tether, you will
That night when the alleged abuse happened.
not be permitted to
The
return
fur
to.
was flying? What does that mean?
Like when cats fight and they tear chunks of fur out. I don't know if I'm right. Am I right?
Yeah. It's like slang for a really big domestic fight.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily physical.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Really quick before we unpause here, I thought of something while this is playing. He's instructing her what to say, so to a certain degree, even her response is being controlled by him. Like, we even saw it when we came into the hearing. He was like, motioning to her, like, make sure you say the thing, make sure you say it right. So, like, as much as I agree with you that, like, if she's saying, let him come home, we're not even really getting her, unfettered, unfiltered opinion because she's just doing what she's told.
The abuse is so much worse if they don't get their way. It's like, if like, say you have a family member that calls up the person that's in your life that's been abusing you and just like goes off on them because they want to defend you and they love you.
They get pissed at you, like, why did you tell your mom that I hit you in the face?
Yeah, the retaliation is so much worse. She may be of the mindset that having him around is less intrusive and horrific and hellish on her life than not having him around.
I used to get that all the time, like, don't tell anybody that I'm hitting you. It's so sorry.
The main impression I got from her is that she legitimately misses him, and maybe she seems like a lonely woman, and it looks like maybe she has a drug problem, and it's like she's got no one to love her, and maybe to her it's like if she is abused, and we don't even know if that's for certain.
Well, no, we do know that's for certain because he's being arrested on domestic violence. So sorry.
Well, he was never convicted. Was he? Wasn't he just like?
Yeah. He had like barriers on. He definitely got convicted of it. That was how the first hearing was him violating conditions for after he'd been convicted for domestic violence.
Yeah, you don't get
Oh,
an
that's
ankle
right.
monitor
That's right.
just
Yeah,
from
yeah,
a
you're right.
restraining order.
So he's definitely a hitter. Let's get that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but Nawson might be right. I mean, we may both be right. There's probably a little bit of both going on. There may be some trauma bonding and very unhealthy codependency rather going on.
Yeah, I
can see both things.
I can speak firsthand that when you're using with somebody like that and you develop a codependency, like all the rest falls to the wayside. Like especially if that person is fueling your habit, he could beat the shit out of her every night. She don't care. She wants him home because she wants to use.
You gotta be my drug buddy.
And now he's been locked up for a while. He's been powering up a Kamehameha. He's gonna come home and be like, Meha!
Yeah.
Through the window.
Oh, Kamehameha. Okay, I was like, what? I know what you mean.
In his cell, like, Ka-me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like KO Ken times 40 built up and ready to go. His like his XP meter is at full. He's ready for what was it called in Fantasy 7 when you get the Omni Slash limit break?
Yeah, his limit break.
Yeah.
He's been saving it up.
Yeah.
In Dexter, Michigan. Do you understand that, Mr. Schuh?
I really like this judge. She's really good for how young
Appealing the
she is.
judge's order. I believe the judge is biased. You should have disqualified yourself from the very beginning.
I appreciate your.
I don't give a fuck what you say.
Whoa.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Any reason I shouldn't hold him in contempt and just keep him in court, in jail?
Can we say that again?
Disqualified yourself from the very beginning.
I appreciate your.
I don't give a fuck what you say.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Any reason I shouldn't hold him in contempt and just keep him in court, in jail?
That guy's making a diamond in his
Your
asshole
Honor,
right now.
Given his relationship with the complaining witness, this is a very emotional time for him, and I hope.
Now that he just showed the court the way he treats women when he doesn't get his way.
Yep.
It's just like Daryl. That was a Daryl moment for sure.
Yeah,
It was.
Sure.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
Hope that outburst was accidental given his emotional state.
It's funny how these people tell
This
on
matter is
themselves.
set for
Like
final
he's trying to
settlement.
put on in these hearings that he's this like soft-spoken, like, you know, follow the rules. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize, Your Honor. But his actions speak way louder than his words.
Yeah.
Threatening to
Conference.
sue the court, yelling at her, beating his girlfriend. This dude is a fucking terror.
Yeah.
On August 9th, 2022 at 1 p.m. Can I have a GPS?
He put a lot of stank on that. I don't give a.
There will be an
what you
immediate
think.
pickup if the
Yeah,
there's
he
a violation
put some seasoning
of
on there.
the GPS or any of the conditions as I've laid them out previously. Mr. Schuh, there's to be absolutely no contact with the victim in this case. That is not directly
Squishy
or
calling the
indirectly.
shot.
That means no more phone calls to
You are
her.
violating my constitutional right to be married. You are violating.
Oh, there's Daryl
I will
Brooks.
be.
No
Violate
more,
my constitutional
no
right.
text messages. Don't try to contact a third
How do you even call
party
yourself a judge?
to get them to
Judicial
contact her on your
misconduct.
behalf. I am also going to order that your
All
phone
these tacit
privileges
agreements.
are revoked at the
Yeah,
jail,
this judge is clearly trying to be slick.
except for contact with your attorney. Anything further from either counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
And this court is adjourned.
Court calls the case. People versus Jeremy Schuh.
Oh,
Oh no, it's Simpson.
Yeah.
I'll get him for you right now, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah, I love Judge Simpson.
Oh, and the Ice Queen. I forgot about this.
So, Your
This
Honor,
lady-
Lauren Brown, Deputy Chief Public Defender, appearing temporarily for Mr. Schuh, but he's a case for whom we will have to withdraw.
Pause, Nawson. This lady, Jessica Blanche, she's been on Law Talk with Mike. She's like a YouTube court hearing fan favorite, but she's a fucking killer in the courtroom. His his chances of getting out just went down like extremely, and now that she's involved, like he's fucked now. She's like the final end boss for domestic violators.
Yeah. And I'll wait until he gets here too.
Oh, he's
God,
out.
I love Judge Simpson.
He's not out, no.
Oh, okay. They're wheeling him in.
Wheeling him in.
Did they?
All right.
Yeah.
Called the case of the People versus Schuh. Sir, can you please state your name?
My name is Jeremy Schuh.
So, Your Honor, I see we're still listed as the attorney of record here. We previously knew from another matter he had. Mr. Schuh has previously and so we've been unable to represent Mr. Schuh going forward. That's one of the standing policies in our office based on the lawsuit. So we would move to withdraw in this case.
Dang.
Who's Johnny Bridges? Why is he like
Can
going for
somebody
a
give
hike?
me an attorney then?
He's waiting
Mr.
to have
Schuh,
a
is this the
hearing.
only case holding you?
Yeah, no, actually, sir, it is not. I have a domestic violence that was in front of Judge Freshour that I have a $10,000 cash bond. It is my first domestic. I've done over 30 days on that case.
So when is your next hearing on that case?
That case, they scheduled my next hearing on August 9th.
All right. So you're going to be in until at least that date, right? That's what I'm getting at.
I'm trying. My family says that they have contact with a bail bondsman, so it's possible that I could get out before then.
Somebody needs to get. Who's representing you on that case, sir?
That case is Robert Ellman.
All right. Then somebody let the Office of Managed Assigned Counsel know. Sit tight, Mr. Schuh. Let's get an
He's
order
got like the
over
whole
here so I
public
can get this
defender's
done so he
office
has an attorney.
working for him.
So that when I turn it out,
on all the charges.
I'm just going to pass your matter briefly,
So
Mr. Schuh.
stupid. Like, just stop.
Yeah.
I don't get repeat violators like this. Like, he's building up all these years for this same, like, not even that big of a deal violation. You know what I mean?
You see how long this video is? He can't stop himself.
He's gonna end up doing life in prison just because he smacked his girlfriend.
Wait until you see, my friend.
All right, thank you, sir.
Court recalls the case of the People State of Michigan versus Jeremy Schuh.
Jessica Blanche pairing on behalf of people.
All right, Mr. Schuh.
Yes.
You can just tell by
I
looking
just
at her.
signed
She
an
does
order.
not
The
fuck around.
Public Defender's Office has
She's
withdrawn.
got resting
You indicated
fuck around
that
and
you
find
have
out
Mr.
face.
Alman on the other case. The Office of Assigned Counsel has appointed Mr. Alman to this case for you.
Okay.
So what it's going to
I
require
love
me
that.
to do
I'm
is
stealing
adjourn
it and I'm
this
using
matter
it.
out.
Okay.
So I'm not sure because he's not here what his schedule is. So I'm going to adjourn it out 2 weeks. I realize you've got that other hold that you're working on out of 14A4.
Yes.
So-
May I say something to the court?
Sure.
This one, I have one question that I keep asking the officers. Nobody knows. Who is the chief judge of the district court?
Which district court? That would be, this district court would be Judge Conkey. You'll have to ask any other questions regarding that. I'm not going to deal with what may be issues.
Okay, so it's Judge Conkey, the district
That's
court.
who you'd have, yes.
Okay. The other thing is who would I file a extraordinary writ of habeas corpus to?
All right. Let me just tell you something, Mr. Schuh. I am not
Pause.
here.
Oh no.
Asking the court, how do I sue you? Jackass.
We've dealt with
Oh.
each other before. I'm not here to give you legal advice. You'll have to get, okay?
Yes, sir.
What I will do in this case is I will adjourn your probable cause conference. I'm going to adjourn that 2 weeks out, like I said, to the 21st. And the file now indicates Mr. Ellman is is your attorney of record on this matter. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, your bond will continue in this case.
All right, thank you. Have a good day, sir. God bless you.
You too.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. We're going to continue on with hearing 5 in the next video. Like I said, we're recording that tomorrow. Today's Saturday the 6th. So this will most likely be a 3-part series. I'll have the next part up likely in the next couple of days. So if you don't have notifications turned on and you like this video, make sure you do that. That way you get notified right when I drop it and you can check it out. So thank you so much for watching this. Check out Nawson and Sprinklecake. Their info is also in the description. They're both YouTubers who could use some support. They're both doing their own thing over there, and I love their content. And they're also really great people, both of them. So just, support a fellow good person, not just a fellow good YouTuber. Right? We can all spread the love, can't we? All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Couple of days. Keep your eyes out. All right.